You're listening to The Wild Woman with Sarah Diop, remembering your wild, one episode at a time. This episode is brought to you by Awaken Your Wild Woman, a guided journey to reclaim your intuition, creativity, and sovereign soul. Awaken Your Wild Woman is an interactive workbook designed to guide you back to your authentic voice through reflection, writing, and creative practice. This isn't a book you rush through. It's a companion, one you return to as you shed old stories and begin to write new ones. Inside you'll find thought-provoking prompts, quotes, and reflections, gentle invitations to explore identity, intuition, and truth. Space to write, question, and reclaim your voice. Whether you're at the beginning of a new chapter or deep in transformation, this book meets you where you are. If you've been feeling a pull to go deeper between the episodes, Awaken Your Wild Woman is waiting for you. You can find the link in the show notes below or go to my website at sarahdiop.com. Welcome to The Wild Woman with Sarah Diop, remembering your wild one episode at a time. Thank you for joining us for episode 1. This space is for unlearning expectations, honoring intuition, and reclaiming the parts of ourselves that were never meant to be tamed. I'm your host, Sarah. And during this first episode, we are going to be covering what the year of the fire horse means for each of us, the astrology of March. I'll cover what the new and full moons are, and I will provide a ritual to do. And we'll wrap it up with a collective tarot, angel, and ancestor reading. So let's settle in and begin. I would like everyone to take a deep breath. And let's see what March has for us. So, the year of the fire horse. As many of you know from listening to my episode 0, that this podcast launched on February 17th, the lunar new year, which means we have now entered the year of the fire horse together. This is significant. The fire horse appears only once every 60 years. The last one was 1966. And it represents major cultural shifts, rebellions, change. It's a number 1 year, so it's new beginnings, that kind of energy. The horse represents adventure, stamina, independence, and a communication style that is very, let's just say, very direct. The horse tells you exactly what it thinks. And then we add the fire element to the horse, the yang fire, which is very active, productive, expansive, which means we get a year that asks you, what are you reaching for? What horizons are you ready to expand to? Where are you running to? But there's a paradox. The fire horse energy can also bring hesitation, especially around commitment, relationships, projects, causes. The fire can make us want to leap before we even look. So, the teaching of this year is find the middle ground. Pace yourself. Reflect on what you actually want and then jump. No procrastinating here. Decide and then do it. I like to think of this year as if I'm riding a powerful horse. I'm actually obsessed with watching those videos of women riding horses on the beach as fast as they can. Brilliant. And at the end of the snake year, I did it all the time because, as I'm sure a lot of you out there felt, the snake year was very challenging for me anyway, and I'm sure a lot of you felt the same way, where you're shedding skins, shedding old identities, really seeing different aspects of your personality, the choices you made, where you want to be, what you want, what you don't want. Now moving into the year of the horse, we're ready to run. We're ready to start at the new beginning. We've let go of all the skins from the snake. We've been reborn, but now we need to be clear on where we're running to and what we want and where we're going. So, as I was saying, I like to picture myself as if I'm riding a powerful horse, specifically on a beach. You choose what works for you. Though this horse can take you as far as you want it to, but the important part is metaphorically, if you're holding the reins, like you know where you're going, it's not chaos, it's determination, it's adventure, it's stamina. You need to know where you're going, and the horse will help you get there. All right, let's go into what March specifically can help you with. So there's a lot going on in March. There's one astrologer that I was reading as I was doing research for this episode that says March is a pause between worlds. It's like we're standing in the doorway of a new season while watching the old one settle into ash, which makes complete sense because we finally let go of the snake. We're going into the horse, but we haven't actually established where we're running to yet. I've been feeling it so much in this in-between stage where I know things are about to change, but they haven't yet. So it's kind of a limbo that we're stuck in. We begin this month with eclipse season still active. A Mercury retrograde that, as I'm recording this, it just happened. So we'll see how this works out. It's the day of Mercury retrograde. And the Mercury retrograde will continue until March 20th. That's when things will switch. So revelations, redirections, and deep realizations are still unfolding right now. So you're still figuring out where you're going to run to. Where are you aiming this horse energy? There's so much beauty in March because the shifts from February are finally now gaining momentum. March brings some of the strongest healing and awakening energy that we've experienced since the year began. I know I've been feeling it. I'm sure many of you have been feeling it as well. So there's a lot to look forward to in March.
All right, so let me walk you through some of the key dates in March. If you like, jot these down in your calendar. Otherwise, let's get going. There's a lot going on in March. March 2nd, Mars enters Pisces. Action shifts from blunt force to intuitive precision. Motivation comes in waves this week. You're being asked to pause before you react and tune in. Spiritual pursuits, creative work, inner healing, these are all favored right now when Mars is in Pisces. All right, March 3rd. This is a big one. It's a total lunar eclipse in Virgo. It's called the worm moon, but some people also call it the blood moon because of the coloring. This moon is highly purifying. Virgo rules our daily lives. Health, routine, work, self-care. This eclipse illuminates what you've been overlooking in these areas. But this moon is not here to punish you. It's here to refine you. So that's the difference, right, between lunar eclipses and solar eclipses. Solar eclipses energizes, it brings energy to the sign, whereas a lunar eclipse, especially in Virgo, refines, not destroys. It's all about purification through the moonlight. So we're going to loop back to March 3rd for this eclipse moon in Virgo, because both the health tip we have for this month is going to be related to Virgo, and also our rituals are going to correlate with the moon during this month. All right, so March 6th, Venus enters Aries. The emotional fog finally clears. You suddenly know what you want and what you're no longer willing to wait for. Aries isn't very patient, let's put it that way. Here's a line I really love from the March forecast of Astrology Answers. I really like that astrology blog, so I recommend it. This is a quote from it. You don't discover your value waiting for others to choose you. You discover it when you choose yourself. So that's really the energy of Venus entering Aries. So that happens on March 6th. When I think of that line, it really stirs that kind of wild woman archetype in me, right? Choosing yourself. You don't wait for other people to value you. You have value because you exist, period. We don't need to prove anything. You know, a lot of us women get our value from serving. There's a book that I've read called Burnout, and Emily and Amelia Nagoski called it the human giver syndrome, that women have an epidemic of the human giver syndrome, that we always have to give first and that we take care of ourselves last. So it causes a whole bunch of problems health-wise and mental health-wise. This really sums it up in that quote, is because we don't need to be valued because what we do. We have worth because we exist. And that really is that wild woman archetype feeling. You don't need validation. You don't need to prove your worth. You have it. You were born with it. stirs a whole bunch of feelings for me. It's actually a really good quote to start a journal prompt. So maybe that's something else I'll do this month, and maybe you want to do the same. All the ways that maybe you allow others to put value on you. And how can you honor yourself by choosing yourself? And how can you prove to yourself you have worth every time you choose yourself? Something like that. Anyway, it's a really good journal prompt, I think, to start looking at worthiness and how you feel worthy and where you learned that. More to come from March. There's so many things happening in March. So March 7th is a Mercury Kazemi. And honestly, I've never even heard of this term before. So I had to look it up, and it's a super rare portal of clarity. It's like a new moon for the mind. Hidden truths come to light, old conversations return for closure. Pay attention to what surfaces around March 7th. So that'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to put that one on my calendar. March 10th, Jupiter stations direct in Cancer. So Jupiter has been retrograde since 2025. Anything with 2025 now because of the year of snake, I'm like, ooh, I should look at that when that happened. So Jupiter has been retrograde since 2025. Now it moves direct, and opportunities that felt pause start moving forward finally. What you've been quietly nurturing, your home, your family, your inner world, whatever you've been quietly nurturing will start to begin to bloom, to birth. So I'm really looking forward to March 10th. I'm sure you are too. So March 15th, Mercury retrograde conjunct Mars in Pisces. This might cause a little bit of a stirring when I see this because I'm a conflict avoider. So this makes me feel like, ooh, okay, be aware of things that can stir during this time. So March 15th, unfinished conversations will resurface. So anything you haven't kind of resolved will resurface. Suppressed frustrations will come out. Reactions may feel really strong, even if the trigger is really small. So it's old history rising. So any unfinished business. This isn't a time for silence, though. It's a time for awareness. The 15th is really a time to be aware of what's happening. I'm guessing, old cycles will pop back up. Yeah, for all you conflict avoiders, this is a real one. March 18th, Pisces new moon. This is great. So I'm really looking forward to the Pisces new moon. This new moon closes out the eclipse portal and shifts us from intensity to integration. It's sextiled Uranus, which will bring sudden insights and intuitive breakthroughs. This is a magical time for intention setting. So we're also going to have a moon ritual for the new moon as well to help with all of that. So we'll definitely make this Pisces new moon count this month. Finally, so many transits this month. March 20th is the spring equinox, and the sun enters Aries. Plus, finally, Mercury will go direct. So basically, this is the astrological new year. It'll bring a triple dose of fresh energy, courage, initiative, the drive to begin. Like, this is exactly that horse energy we want, right? Starting to begin. So March 20th, you're really going to start to feel that, right? Ask yourself, who am I now? What am I done postponing? What am I done procrastinating on? This is the time. March 20th is the time to start running in your direction, setting those goals, figuring out what you want to do, figuring out who am I? What do I want to do? What have I been putting off? Okay, so before we get into the full moon ritual, let me just once again let you know when the full and new moon are going to be, because these are very important dates. So the full moon, which is in Virgo, the worm moon, which is a total lunar eclipse in Virgo, happens on March 3rd, and the new moon, which is in Pisces, happens on March 18th. This month, I'm inviting you into a moon water ritual for both the full and the new moon. What you'll need is a clean glass. I usually use a mason jar. Water, a piece of paper and a pen, a safe fireproof bowl for burning, or the sink. I've used the sink in a pinch. Access to moonlight, obviously, and I either put it in the windowsill or I've occasionally, because I've used a mason jar, I've put it outside. On the night of the full moon eclipse, you're going to write down what you're ready to release. Full moons are about releasing. So fears, patterns, anything that felt exposed during this awakening. What do you want to let go of and leave in the past? Fill your jar with water and place it on the windowsill in the moonlight. And as you set it down, say, I charge this water under the worm moon eclipse. May it absorb the purifying light of this revelation. Once again, it's, I charge this water under the worm moon eclipse. May it absorb the purifying light of this revelation. Wrap the paper around the base of the glass. I usually tape it on and leave it in the moonlight overnight. At sunrise, or when you wake up, hold the glass and say, I drink the light of the worm moon. May this water cleanse me from within. Drink the water in the glass and then remove the paper. Then safely burn the paper with what you want to let go of. And say this, I release this. It turns to ash, to earth, to the past. I am no longer carrying it. Now, for the new moon. New moons are all about what you want to bring in. On this new moon, write what you wish to cultivate. Write it in the present tense. That's always the best for manifestations. If you write it in the future tense, it will always be in the future. I am creatively flowing, not I want to create. Or I want love. I'm surrounded by love. Fill your jar with fresh water. Place it on the windowsill and say, under this dark moon, I plant seeds. Charge this water with the energy of new beginnings. Wrap your piece of paper around the glass and leave it overnight. At sunrise, hold the glass and say, I drink the potential of this new moon. May this water carry my intention into every cell. Drink the water. And then, because this is something you want to keep, then remove the piece of paper from the glass jar and either place a piece of paper on your altar if you have one, and if you don't, then place the piece of paper under your pillow or in your pillowcase. And when you do this, say, I release this intention to the universe. It is planted. I trust its timing. Okay, so before we get to the cards, I want to offer this simple health tip for March. This month, I'm inviting you to wake up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do. Even 5 minutes. 5 minutes before you normally do. Just a tiny bit of time. That's it. Just 5 to 15 minutes. And then, in that time, I want you to do something. Not for your partner, not for your kids, not for your job, not for your boss, not for your siblings or parents or anyone else. I want you to do something just for you. In the book, The 4% Fix from Karma Brown, she says 2 things. Her suggestion is to wake up early. And what she says is you have to put your oxygen mask on first. Women often forget this. And she also says you need to take the first slice of cake. I think she said cake. Maybe it was pie. It's either pie or cake. Anyways, this time is meant for you. If you do something the first thing in the morning, that's why taking the first piece of cake. Because what's going to happen throughout the day, what she describes is you have a piece of cake and throughout the day, you're giving, you're helping, people are taking slices of that cake. And if you don't take the first 5 to 15 minutes just for you, then by the end of the day, you might not have any cake left. You have no more energy to give to yourself. So then you don't. This is a perfect time to cultivate this wild woman passion within you. So I suggest doing a passion project, but it can be any goal that you're looking to fulfill. We read this book on my previous podcast called Book Interrupted, and one of the women wanted to exercise. Another one just wanted to drink a coffee quietly by herself and look outside. Everybody had a different thing. Someone did art in the morning, just drawing for herself, not for work, just finding something for yourself. Recently, for me, just didn't have enough time to get to my yoga routine. I used to love doing yoga. I have 3 kids and I had time to meditate, but I never really had time for a proper yoga routine. And instead of being upset I didn't have the hour and a half to do a full class, I took 15 minutes and started slow with sun salutations. And slowly but surely, I've moved it to 45 minutes. And I feel like I have so much more energy now because I'm taking something for me. I'm doing it just for me. Here are some other suggestions I had from other wild women in my women's circle. You could read a few pages of a book that you've been meaning to start. You could write some sentences in your journal. You could stretch, you could breathe, you could dream, you could dance. Find something that makes you feel alive. Maybe something you used to do and you just don't do anymore. It could be small. It could be tiny. And you could just take 5 minutes. It could be sipping a cup of coffee all by yourself while you looked outside. That's simple. One of the things that Karma Brown says in her book is that 4% of your day can change your life if you use it to do something that matters to you. And that's 100% true. It really can change your life. Doing something just for you that brings you joy, that makes your soul sing. One tiny change can change your whole life, like a pebble in a pond. You know, us women, we can't show up to our lives with an empty cup. And if you want to live a full life worthy of you, just even taking 5 minutes for yourself every day to do one tiny thing will make an enormous shift energetically. Just like my new yoga routine. Actually, it's not even just the yoga. It has become more than a yoga routine, actually, for me. It started just with a couple sun salutations. And then what it turned out to be is I do yoga. I then do some Pilates. I do some dance. And I do some martial arts. I do all these 4 things that I used to enjoy doing and just never have time to do anymore. And I broke them down into a little 45-minute routine with music so I don't look at a clock. My playlist ends when it's done and I start my day and I feel incredible now. So this March, take the first slice for you. Put your oxygen mask on first. 5 minutes just for you. I'm giving you permission. And now, wild ones, it's time for a collective tarot card reading. Let's pull some cards and see what the energy of March has in store for all of our collective. Now remember, this is a collective reading, so it's going to resonate with each one a little bit differently, but I will try to be as general as possible. All right, I like to start with the tarot. Everybody uses a different type of tarot deck. I like to use the Mystic Tarot deck, which has Greek mythology. But everyone's different. Let's see what the cards have for our collective for the month of March. What does this collective need to hear? Now for the Angels and Ancestor Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. Just got these this summer. A friend of mine had them. They're so beautiful and so powerful. I feel like they really encompass the wild woman energy. Well, I couldn't ask for a better pull for this collective for our first episode. I did 2 3-card pullings of our current situation, actions that we need to take, and the outcome. We got the Hierophant, which is just so perfect. The Hierophant is all about people actively seeking answers of a philosophical kind. This might be your belief system, but basically it's a quest for the meaning of life. So if you found this episode, obviously this is definitely where we're finding ourselves right now. And then when it comes to the Ancestors and Angel cards, we pulled Summer. And the meaning of the Summer card is bask in joy and light. Rise up, open your wings, and shine. It has a picture of a bee on it. Bees also represent abundance and manifestation. Bring your projects and plans into the light and into manifestation. What is it that we want to manifest? What do we want to bring into the light? Where are we running towards? What is our goal? And the action we need to take, the Moon card. I'll share a little information with all of you. The Moon card is my least favorite card. I know, how dare I? Hecate too, the moon goddess, beautiful. However,
She never wants to reveal her secrets. So whenever I go to the tarot to find answers and the moon comes, I get frustrated. I'm a Capricorn after all. I want answers. And the moon says, you must wait in my womb until I'm ready to reveal myself. You need to wait to be birthed. So Hecate, the moon goddess, is all about confusion, fluctuation, uncertainty. The moon is basically being in the grips of the unconscious. You're in the waters of the great womb and you're waiting to be birthed and reborn, which makes complete sense because we're kind of in this limbo right now, aren't we? Between shedding our old skin and figuring out where we're going to go. So what you need to do is absolutely nothing. We got the High Priest for the Oracle cards. Let's see if he can shed a little bit more light. Intend and create. Recognize that you have the power to change your life. Face your fear and align with light. I think this is a perfect card for what we need to do, especially with the ritual and with my health tip. If you just wake up 5 minutes early every day and create something, dance, create joy, do something that fills your soul, that is what you need to do, and then wait until you're reborn, until all these small changes change your life. We have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is a celebration. So you've moved from the womb into the birth with the Three of Cups. You've been reborn. And you have emotional fulfillment and promise. Now, with the threes, it's not a 9 or a 10. So it's the beginning, right? You have emotional fulfillment, but deeper levels will eventually need to come. But this is an excellent card for the beginning because it's a celebration. You've been reborn and you feel emotionally fulfilled by it. And for the oracle cards, we have the Medicine Mother. Honor your inner knowing. Take action. Do what you know you need to do. Her message is that there is an old pattern rising up in you, and it's time to deal with it and release it for good. You're encouraged to love and respect yourself enough to take those steps you know you need to take to move closer to where you'd like to be. It's time to start walking in the direction of your dreams and goals. You may have been using delay tactics or holding yourself back, but now you're finally being guided to start taking action. And action requires courage, but your angels and guides are bringing you the courage to move forward. All you need to do is take that first step. And when you do, the next step will be presented to you. And with that, we've come to the end of our first episode. Thank you for being here, for listening, for showing up for yourself. This month, as the fire horse energy runs through us and the eclipses reveal what's ready to be refined, I hope you remember, you are not here to be small. You are not here to shrink. You are here to run wild at your own pace, with your own rhythm, holding your own reins. The next episode, mid-month, we'll have our first Wild Woman Spotlight, a conversation with someone who inspires me. You won't want to miss it. Until then, drink your moon water, take your 5 minutes, and trust what's rising. Thank you for listening to The Wild Woman with Sarah Diop. Remembering your wild, one episode at a time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and review. Every little bit helps. And I'll see you next time.